Red Matter 2 single-handedly ruined all VR games. I'll be going over the reasoning for why it ruined VR games in this video. First, I want to go over what kind of game Red Matter 2 is. Red Matter 2 was one of the most highly anticipated games to come out this year for VR headsets. The game is under the puzzle and adventure category, and after its release, the game has around 300 reviews with an average review of 4.8 out of 5 in an insanely highly rated game. With a $30 price tag, the game offers about 7 to 10 hours depending on how well and how fast you can get through the puzzles. It took me about 9 hours because I suck at these puzzles and they were actually pretty challenging. The game is a continuation of the original Red Matter that takes place during a dystopian Cold War, and you can embark on a journey to dig further into the Red Matter as well as to rescue your long lost friend. Let's move into the game rating. I promise everything I talk about all ties into the point that I'm trying to make. For the gameplay, I'll give it 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy the adventure portion of the game, going through the story, and the puzzles that you encounter are really challenging. Another thing I really appreciated about the game was the interactability of the objects in the game. Like, go ahead and try it out. You can pretty much interact with 99% of what you see in the game, which I think is a very important part of a VR game. Because you can grab everything, it also added to the difficulty of the game just because you don't know if whatever you're grabbing is important to the game or not. The only reason I give the 4 stars instead of the 5 is that for some reason in Red Matter 2, it did give me motion sickness when I played the game for longer than 45 minutes, maybe to an hour. It wasn't anything intense, but as I finished the original Red Matter 1 in one sitting and didn't feel any motion sickness, I kinda expected it to be the same for Red Matter 2. There isn't much to say on the fear factor piece. The game is a bit freaky from time to time and it seems like they're going to scare you, but you don't see any types of scare tactics that make you jump or anything like that. So if you're someone that gets easily scared, you don't have to have any worries. To add on a little bit more in terms of difficulty, it really comes down to your ability to think outside the box in order to solve puzzles. There are some repeating puzzles that are easy, but there will be some puzzles that leave you thinking for a good amount of time. I don't think that it's anything that will make you rage quit, as the more difficult puzzles will give you hints that you can find in order to move on. I don't think there's too much to talk about in terms of replayability for this game. There aren't different types of ending depending on the choices that you make, and the puzzles don't get harder as you replay the game, so there isn't much fun in replaying the same puzzles and going through the same story. The in-game music in this game is very well designed. It's nothing over the top, which is always nice, and it just seems to fit the current situation that you find yourself in within the game. The audio itself is very clear, and it's one of those games that you know the music is playing, but it just fits so well with the environment you don't really notice it. I know some gamers will understand what I'm trying to say here. I won't be spoiling anything in this portion, but if you don't want to hear my take on the ending, please skip to the next section. I would give the ending a 3 out of 5. I didn't expect the ending to end the way it did, but it also wasn't anything special. There was a lot of story build up to this point, and the ending seemed pretty normal to me. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't anything bad or frustrating, so that's why I give it a 3 rather than a 2 or a 1. Let's get to the main feature of this game, which was the groundbreaking graphics throughout the game never seen before in any VR game. I'm honestly still in shock how well the graphics look after playing various VR games. The reflection of the objects and the lights on the glass, the particles in the game, to all sorts of objects with fine details. The graphics of the game is mainly the reason why this game, Red Matter 2, ruined VR games. Think about it. Now everyone knows what kind of graphics are capable in, let's say, the MetaQuest 2. All of the games coming out will be compared to Red Matter 2 in regards to the graphics. And will the other games look better than this game? I hope so, but in reality I don't think they will, at least in the near future. Red Matter 2 will fill the role of the benchmark for games to be compared to in terms of the graphics, so if they can't get over the bar, it's gonna feel like it's missing something or that extra fine detail to compete for the game of the year. I personally wouldn't want to experience a game like this just to hop into Horizon Worlds to experience this. Okay, maybe the example was a little extra, but you get the point. Red Matter 2 was one of those games that will increase the attention to detail for all VR games to come in the future, and I'm really thankful for it. Overall, I definitely recommend getting this game to anyone that likes puzzles or adventure, and will give the game a 4.5 out of 5. The only game I'm tracking coming out in the near future with graphics to even come close to Red Matter 2 is the highly anticipated game Bone Lab. If you want to know the things that Bone Lab will be doing to compete for the Game of the Year spot, check out the video here. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.